everyone, this is Travis from the Dana and Travis Show. I personally want to thank every one of you for liking us on Facebook and checking out the podcast on YouTube. If you have any ideas or requests for the show, please email us at danaandtravisshow@gmail.com. Once again, we'd like to thank every one of you for listening to the podcast, and we really hope you enjoy the show. Thank you.
You're listening to a Collapsar Digital Studios production.
Live from Bloomfield, Indiana, you're listening to the Dana and Travis Show.
Greetings and well wishes. I'm Dana,
And I'm Travis.
broadcasting to you live from Collapsar Digital Studios in Bloomfield, Indiana, bringing forth the knowledge of the universe in 60 minutes.
We hope you enjoy the show.
All right, how's everybody doing tonight? This is the Dana and Travis Show. Travis, what's up, buddy?
Oh, nothing much. Just enjoying this lovely Tuesday night. It's nice and it's kind of humid outside. Don't you think it's a little bit?
Yeah, but we've had a couple of good days, and I'm just glad that spring's finally here. I think it was a long winter for everybody.
Yeah, that's for sure. But we got some good things for you to listen to tonight on our third episode. As everyone
Absolutely.
cheers and claps and whatever you want to do.
Yeah, and we're trying to kind of mix up a little bit, not kind of going with the same types of topics each night. So I think tonight's show should be a good one.
Yeah, we don't want to keep you all bored, and which when you do an hour show, it's probably pretty easy to get all of you, not as interested. But that's why we're gonna keep trying to do our best to innovate and listen to our feedback that we're getting, which you can give us feedback by emailing us at danaandtravisshow@gmail.com, or you can find us on Facebook and or tweet us on Twitter.
All right, so what's been going on this week, Travis? Any good stories?
Well, this weekend I went and got 2 tires changed in my car, and spent about $180 on that, which isn't bad.
No, I've got to do that myself. I'll probably do the two back tires, and then eventually, maybe towards the fall, do a couple more on the front.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about my front 2, because that's when back in last October I had an unfortunate collision with a deer, and I completely just destroyed the whole front end of my car, and the two front tires at the time need to be changed, and insurance covered that.
Awesome, you gotta love that.
So I was pretty happy for that. Not so happy that my car got crushed, but
My car got crushed this winter, but the dude that drove over my hood didn't get the tires, so I didn't get that lucky.
yeah, I was there the day that happened, and Dad wasn't too happy.
I was not a happy camper.
Nope, not at all. What else doesn't make you happy recently?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because we've had a lot of turmoil in this community here recently.
Really?
Yes, and it's about to drive me nuts.
Well, what could possibly be driving you nuts in this little community we call Bloomfield?
Well, the eating options, if you're going to go out to eat, are kind of limited.
Hey, we have Casa Seville now.
We do have Casa Seville,
Which is
the
awesome.
local Mexican. Yes, it's great place to eat, and we've got like the Chinese restaurant and
Dairy
some
Queen.
different things. Yeah, but if you want to go in and just get something quick, especially like if you're on your way to work in the mornings and you're wanting to eat breakfast,
Yes.
you're wanting to start your day out great with a good breakfast.
There's very limited choices when
No.
it comes to breakfast.
Unless you want to go to the convenience store and get some kind of a nuclear sandwich, and that know how long it's been frozen. Other than that, there's just not too many options.
So, where did you used to get your food in the morning?
Well, used to, my all-time favorite place was the deli at our local grocery.
Okay. We're not going to name any names of this local grocery, but it does have 3 letters in
We'll leave it at
it.
that. And the thing is, it just recently changed hands, and there toward the end, I had more than one kind of bad experience at the deli. I'm thinking, well, they're just, you know, transitioning, and people just getting a little bit lax because new owners are coming in, and I had these high hopes that these new owners were going to come in and breathe a breath of fresh air into our local grocery.
Well, I can tell you just by looking out the parking lot. I don't think they came in with a bunch of fresh air. That's for sure.
No, I've tried to give them different chances, and I've even talked to like the deli people. I'm like, listen, what are you people doing here? You're ruining breakfast. It's
Well, I mean, you've talked about it a little bit. We don't think it's so much the fact that they're ruining it.
no.
It's just we think that the quality of the food has gone down,
Well,
maybe possibly because of ordering cheaper.
And I think the new owners are trying different things, but and that's great. But sometimes if you got a good thing going, don't mess with it.
Understand. So, this is a good food talk. Yeah, really good food talk.
And the thing is too, and when you want people to come into your establishment, you want happy customers. Used to, I'd walk in there, I was so happy because I was getting ready to have my sausage, egg, and cheese on a bun sandwich to get me off for a good day of work.
Or some good biscuits and gravy.
Some good biscuits and gravy.
Yeah.
But if you, on top of the deli, if you start screwing around with the parking lot on top of that, and completely annihilate the whole front row, prime real estate of parking, for, I assume, what's a fire lane or something. They took out like the 6 best spots.
Yeah.
And then you take that space, and then you put a couple of handicap parking places on each side of that, which is well needed, But then the other day, I almost tripped and fell down because on the one end of it there was another spot marked "Expecting Mothers."
Which, to be fair, expecting mothers, they do have it a little harder than the rest of us. But what was the problem before?
If you wanted to make it easier on expecting mothers, why did you even mess with it to start with? And we could have all got our little chance at the front door.
Yeah, because I've seen several IGAs around the state, and I have not once.
Oh, which letters did you
what? I've seen. Oh, oops.
Yeah.
Oops.
There you go.
Well, I think everyone knows what we're talking about. But I've been to several of these groceries across the state.
Yeah.
And I've never noticed a fire lane in front of the stores. I've never noticed fire lanes. I've never noticed expecting mothers spaces, which I know that they do exist. But I just don't understand what the problem was.
But see, now, not only do they have people like me walking 3 miles to the front door, you've also got the expecting mothers on the end that have to walk, an extra 50 yards too.
Yep. But I guess that's just, I guess, different things comes with change. But,
yeah, and we fear change. We don't like change. Nobody likes to change, but...
Yeah, maybe because here we are sitting complaining about walking an extra 20 feet.
And that's why sometimes it's best not to mess with things.
Nope, it was not broken before, so don't fix something that isn't broken. And that's all I have to say about it. Well, all right, everyone. We're going to get on to our main topic of the night.
Exactly.
And now for our topic of the night.
Exactly. Main topic tonight. Summer's just around the corner, and on top of everything else, summer activities, summer vacations are going to be in people's minds right now, planning and getting reservations and...
A lot of travel, a lot of people going out of state, or in our case, we did a couple of years ago. We left the country.
Yeah, we did. We had an awesome time overseas in Europe. Travis and I went to Ireland for a couple weeks.
Oh yes, the great green, very much green and rainy country of Ireland.
The Emerald Isle.
It was it was, I think along with every vacation or every adventure people tend to will go on. I think the worst part of the whole trip, if there is a worst part, is the getting to and from.
Oh yeah.
And when you're going out country, I don't know if a lot of you travel a lot, but this was my first time leaving the country, and I didn't realize that when you go to leave country like that, or when you go to get your airplane ticket, you will have a layover most generally, and we went to the Indianapolis airport, and we flew to Chicago O'Hare.
Yeah, which I didn't feel was too bad. We had like a 5-6 hour layover.
We had like a 7 or 8 hour layover.
Okay. Yeah, whatever. It was a good layover.
I mean, just in general, it's not very fun being in an airport to begin with.
Yeah, but it was Chicago. Anyway, I have spent some really excruciating layovers overseas that just were not pleasant at all.
Yeah, I understand. You had a lot more experience with this than I did.
Last time when I traveled to Nepal, I had like a 10-hour layover in Qatar.
I couldn't imagine being in that country and having that long of a layover.
Yeah, and this was an international airport with one bathroom.
Oh man!
Yeah, it was.
And I bet that stunk.
It stunk, and yeah, it just wasn't very good at all.
Because when you get a bunch of people together, you're getting international stenches.
Yeah, and honestly, of course, being where I was at, there was a lot of the Arab people there, mostly Arabs, and they're just kind of a different sort.
Yeah, but going back to Chicago.
Back to Chicago.
They had some cool things to look at there, and I know they had they were doing some advertising for the museum. They had like a big dinosaur there.
Yeah,
but they had a bunch of different Starbucks vending areas, and they had like a little bar area and a little place places to eat.
Yeah, and now most of the airports all have Wi-Fi, and you can always get on your iPad or whatever and kill time that way. You're no longer just stuck reading a book or reading the same newspaper 10 times.
Yeah, but which we had to get used to it while we were there, or we had to get used to not being able to be on our phones or our iPads for 2 weeks.
Yeah, because I know I believe I got an international data package that I use some, but most of the time if you are overseas, you can score some Wi-Fi somewhere.
It's probably best to have a plan for overseas if you do go out.
Yeah.
Because you never know when you're going to have an emergency and you need to make a phone call.
Exactly. So yeah, it wasn't super expensive, but it was definitely good to have. And in the meantime, I try to keep my cell phone off most of the time if I'm overseas, and definitely have the roaming shut off.
Yeah, definitely. We had our phones on airplane mode pretty much the entire trip, and I had to make sure they didn't accidentally get turned on because when I got home, I had like over 50 things show up on my phone, and imagine that happening overseas. Imagine those charges. That would have been horrible. Been very expensive. Very, very, very expensive.
Yeah, I know. And then when I was in Nepal, I really didn't. Well, actually, Facebook was my mode of communication for back home. So thank you, Facebook.
Yep. There's some things Facebook can't get right.
Yeah, and like I said, it's about anywhere you can go anymore. You can usually always find Wi-Fi free, or sometimes they charge for it. But
yep. Okay, so we're gonna move on from Chicago. So we got on our flight, which was Aer Lingus. That was the name of the airline.
The airline of Ireland.
Yep, Aer Lingus. It is a pretty cool look. Irish, colored,
the
colored playing.
shamrock and the whole shebang. So
Yeah, they had when we were on the trip, they had like these little movie things you could watch, and much more advanced than what from the last time I went on a plane. Well, actually, no, I can't say that.
What were some of the movies? I'm trying to think of what movies
they had
on those flights.
Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol.
Yeah.
They had War Horse. They had. Oh gosh, what else did they have? And they had we bought a zoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anymore they literally have, you can pick from like 100 different movies, or you can go like to regular television programming
or music.
All sorts, music and television. So you can always find something to watch.
Yep. So that was about an 8-hour flight.
Yeah, something like that.
About an 8-hour flight. We slept through. This plane was very, very small. Dad and I, I'm not a small person, and me and him, we were cramped up next to each other for 8 hours.
Well, and anytime you have, when you're sitting that long in an airplane seat, it's not good.
It's excruciating. So then after we got off the airplane, we arrived in Dublin, the Dublin airport, and it was different. We got to customs, and we had they had to show them our passports, and we did all that good stuff.
Yeah, the stand-in lines, and that's especially on the international flights. Going through customs and just different things. It seems like you're going from one line to another.
Yeah, but that's pretty much what the airport is in general. It's just a bunch of waiting in lines.
Yeah, getting this line, getting that line, sit down, wait.
So we finally get to the to like the main area of the airport, and we go outside, and we're trying to. We really had no idea what we were doing.
But remember we went down to the bathroom because we had like our backpacks, but we had the backpacks in our baggage, so we had to we went down to the bathroom, and we're like completely tearing our baggage apart and reconfiguring it for backpacker mode.
Describe what we brought with us. Like, we had 2 packs in general. And when we say packs, these packs are about the size of us.
Yeah, I had my big expedition pack, and then I had one, it's a little bit smaller pack, but they're both very pretty good size packs.
Well, I mean, they're big enough for 2 weeks worth of clothes and souvenirs and what else you could possibly. Yeah. I mean, later on we got bags.
But clothes wise, we didn't bring that many clothes with us.
Yeah, well, we tried to go as light as we could because that we can't have all the extra weight. Especially what we were doing, we were just pretty much hiking it. We were just winging it.
Yeah, because I know I had my outfits pretty well condensed to about 4 outfits.
It's about what I had. Yep, and you end up losing a pair of pants.
Yeah, and I have no idea where those pants went to.
No, I know that they were, for later on in the story, they were last seen in Killarney. But
I have a pair of pants somewhere in Killarney.
Somewhere in Ireland is a pair of Dad's pants.
Yeah, I like those pants. They were good pants.
Yep. So we were at the front of the airport, and we're trying to figure out what to do and where to go.
Yeah, of course we went to the money exchange, and got a few euros to get us started on,
Yeah, just until we were able to get to an actual bank.
Yeah, and if don't ever cash in all your money at a bank exchange because you won't get a good rate. You got to go in town to wherever you're going, get a little bit of spending money to get you going, but you can kind of shop around and find a good rate, which in Ireland you were pretty much had to use some kind of an actual bank. Like in Nepal, on every street corner you could sell your money, so it's a little different.
Yeah, we actually had to deal with an actual bank, which was interesting because they accepted our money like it was nothing.
Well, most of the time.
Well, that's for later on. Which I'm just going to tell everyone, this is going to be in parts, so we're just telling you kind of like part 1 of our Ireland tale. But, to get back on topic, So we're at the front of the airport and we're trying to figure out what to do, and we ended up figuring out that we needed to get on a bus.
Yeah, so we kind of basically knew the part of town that we were going to. We were going to the Temple Bar District, which is the real,
It's the
touristy.
heart
Yeah.
of Dublin.
So we ended up finding a bus that was take us, to that area. So okay, good. We'll get there and we'll, take it, from there when we arrive. So
Okay, so I'm gonna tell what happened. You're gonna describe what our first thoughts were. So we get on the bus. It's kind of raining outside, and it's kind of like a light drizzle.
yeah, just a very dreary day. Just typically what you would think. Just a rainy, nasty day in Ireland.
It was actually a lot colder for that time of year than
Yeah.
what it was. They said in 300 years, which was really interesting. But it was like almost 40 degrees, I'd say.
Probably something like that
It was
day.
about 40 degrees. So we had our you gotta imagine we had our coats on when we were doing this. So the bus is taking us. We're seeing a lot of this pretty neat, town. You see houses and
Yeah, just
different
kind of
streets and
just kind of the outskirts, of Dublin. Not really a whole lot to see, but
no. So then, of course, we're traveling on the other side of the road. So this is the first time I've ever experienced this. And so we get into downtown Dublin, and we actually arrived around the Trinity College area.
mm-hmm.
They told us, they said Temple Bar area, and they stopped. They let us out and describe what we felt.
Yeah, we just we stepped off the bus, and really neither one of us knew where the heck we were. We knew we were in a different country on a different continent, and I'd never been really, too much to Europe or Ireland for sure. And it was just kind of a little bit of a rush for me. Just to kind of look around, it's like, wow, we're here.
It was kind of stressful, really. I mean, we got off that bus and
In the rain.
and
of course, we don't have an
people
umbrella
walking
or nothing. We're just kind of standing in the rain looking around.
There's people walking by us, and we're two Americans in a different country, and we were just like, whoa.
Yeah, and the Irish people, it's kind of probably like New York City. Everybody's moving really fast.
And we're standing there.
Yeah, we're just kind of
disrupting.
standing in the way, and everybody's smoking a cigarette. So it was just, just kind of different. But like I said, I just got a real rush from it myself.
Yeah, I did too, and so we tried to get our bearings together. I don't know. Did we end up trying to ask for directions?
Yeah, so we went to one shop, and then they had this little map, which they must get it a lot. Like, you are here, and so, well, where's this street at? I forget which street it was we were trying to find.
Yeah, well, we were trying to find the Temple Bar area. I mean, it's actually its own street and stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and we were close, but like I said, having never been there, after we were there for a couple of days and kind of got the layout, it was fine. But at the time there was little side streets and alleys, and it's just nothing.
It all intertwines.
Yeah.
So we end up getting a map, and then but our ultimate destination at this point is Barnacle's Hostel.
Yeah.
That's where we were trying to get to.
Right next door to the Temple Bar.
Literally, it's 100 feet.
And later on, of course, like we said, there's alleys and just everything's entwined and winding roads. But there's one constant we found out that you can use that'll get you anywhere you need to go, and that's the River Liffey.
Yep, the waterway.
Yeah, because everything, you're either on one side of the river or the other, and
it takes you pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, if you walk up and down the river, you can get to where you want to go.
Yep. So we ended up figuring out if we could just stay on the waterway, we will figure it out, and we did. We found the Temple Bar area, and we went to we got into Barnacles, and I can't remember what time it was, but we couldn't check in yet.
Yeah. We actually, I think we arrived in Dublin like at 8:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
So it's pretty early, and so it's probably maybe 10:30 by the time we actually got to the Temple Bar area, and at the time, we found our hostel. Of course, then which I had never done the hostel thing before, which if people don't know, you could. It's just like It's like a motel, but it's like a very, very, very economy motel, and you can get different numbers of beds in the rooms. You get like
You share it with other people.
Yeah. Well, you can get like a 2-bedroom, or you get like a 4-bed type room where 4 people that maybe not even know each other stay.
Yes.
Or if you really want to go. If you want to go on to the cheap, you can get the 8-bed dormitory style room.
Which is exactly what we did.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we'll have time to get into it now, or this episode.
But let me tell you this, cheaper is not always better.
No. We were with these, well, like I said, I don't know if we can have time for this episode, but let's just say our first guests that we shared a room with, weren't necessarily the best people to share a room with.
They were loud, obnoxious, drunken Australians.
Yes, and these are young, drunken Australians.
Kids, yeah, they're kids out partying in Dublin.
Yes, and you have, I was relatively their age, but Dad was just kind of like this,
A generational gap between
There was
us.
a very much generational gap, and say it like this, later on, Dad about threw down with some of them.
Yeah, it was sad. They were drunked up, and I was madder than a hornet.
But we'll get to that. We'll get to that later. So when we go, so we get into Barnacles, and we meet the nice gentleman at the front, which we found out that he's Russian. And of course, we tried to talk to as many people as we could who lived in the area, as much as possible. We tried to
just gathering information.
Yeah, and he was telling us his story about how he lived in Russia, and he wanted to leave Russia, and he came to Ireland, and he said that then the recession hit, and he could never get the money to go back.
Yeah, so
he was stuck in Ireland.
That's not a bad gig,
with no one.
Yeah.
But like I said, he get the deal with people like me and Dad, which I think he liked us in the end. I think
we were cool. He was cool. And the first thing we got there, we're like, dude, we have not ate anything decent except airplane food for like 24 hours.
Where should we go to eat? Is what we asked him.
First thing, where's a good place to eat at around here?
And he suggested us this place called O'Neill's. And he kind of gave us a general area direction where it was, and he told, so we leave. No, I'm kind of getting tongue tied here. No, we give him our stuff because we didn't want it because we had our stuff was heavy.
Yeah, most hostels have like a luggage storage room where you just put a tag on your luggage and everybody just tosses their bags in this one locked room and.
Yep. So we gave him our stuff, and we grabbed some of our American money because we really didn't take out much at the airport, and then we went and found a bank.
And and that's the thing too. You got to be pretty trusting. I mean, we handed this
to a stranger.
Yeah, we handed over all of our stuff to this Russian kid. So here you go, watch this for us.
Yeah, but we kept our passports on us, our money on us. But all of our clothes and stuff, we left that stuff in his hands. But which, turns out in the very end, we never got robbed.
Yeah,
except for Dad's pants.
Well, they may have been misplaced. We don't know yet, but
yeah.
But at any rate, that's what everybody does. So you're in the same boat with everybody else,
just trying to get to place and trying to find a place to stay.
Yeah. So we finally leave our stuff. We find this restaurant O'Neill's.
Well, we went to the bank first. Got some money.
Then head to O'Neill's.
Which was actually, the bank was right across the street from it.
Was that the time when we... And, the other thing too, I think at that time Ireland had a problem with counterfeit American money.
Yeah. And we actually had a hard time.
Yeah, they did not like our U.S. $100 bills.
No, they do not like that at all.
Yeah.
But I don't think they understand the concept of the pin.
Walmart has a freaking pin.
A pin that you can tell whether or not the money is fake or not.
But I don't know if it was that time. But at one bank, we traded out a rather large amount of money, and didn't they have to get an okay from another manager to do it?
Yeah. They they tried very much. They took as little much of our $100 bills as possible.
Yeah, so if you're ever traveling to Europe, my best advice would be to kind of hang with, if you don't use traveler's checks, stay away from $100 bills, maybe 20s and 50s if you can.
Yep, definitely. So we're just gonna finish up this first part with the meal. So we went into O'Neill's, and
We're starved.
yeah, we literally have not ate a real meal in like 24 hours.
Yeah,
Didn't we?
Yeah, by the time from the time we left home, we were pretty much on the road. Not really had a good meal for probably 24 hours.
Yeah, so we went to this place, and we had no idea what to expect, none whatsoever.
No, but walked into this place, and it was just like walking back in time. Just very ornate, small, little nooks here and there with tables and.
Yeah, and they had like a little bar kind of deal, like a food bar.
Yeah.
And we went down there.
Kind of cafeteria style, kinda.
Yeah, kinda. But they had these huge ladles. We didn't think anything of it. And so we were like, yeah. I think did we both get the lamb stew.
Lamb stew, yeah.
We got the lamb stew, and they bring out this big honking bowl. I mean, this thing. I mean, I can't describe how big it was. I bet you could probably put a cantaloupe in it.
Yeah, it was a huge bowl of soup.
Yeah, and they just got that down there, and they gave us, and our eyes got big, and we're just like, oh man.
And I think
how much did it cost us?
Well, you're saying I remember
like
ordering
40?
like an extra order of like soda bread.
I think it wasn't like 40 or
it was
50,
like a
40,
it was a
$50
meal. It was like a US $50 meal.
Yeah, so imagine spending that every day for 2 weeks. Every meal was about $30 to $60.
Yeah,
American money.
I would say probably a good average, US dollar, meal was about $30 a meal.
Yep. Yeah, and we think, we go to Red Lobster here and we complain about a meal being $14. Yeah. Over there, it'd be $25.
$19.95 for an Admiral's feast. That's outrageous.
Yeah, over there, it's completely out of this world.
But it was filling.
Yes, it was, and it was some of the best lamb stew I've ever had.
Oh, yeah, they know how to make their stew over there.
All right. Well, I think we're going to end on that note. The next time we talk about Ireland, I think we'll talk about what we did when we first got back to the hostel.
Yeah, and Dublin was a fun town.
Discovering Dublin.
Yeah, but, Dublin was fun, but getting out in the countryside was better.
It was so much better. It's just one of those trips. It's like we cannot do this. We cannot talk about Ireland in one show.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be over several shows, I imagine.
Well, and we had so many good, just quirky stories.
Yeah, and that's the greatest part about it. It's like we got to experience some things that not very many people who go to Ireland get to experience.
Yeah. Well, and before we really wrap this up, and we had a loose kind of general idea of where we wanted to go and what days, but for the most part, we didn't really have a real itinerary.
Nope.
We just did what we wanted.
And I think that when you do that, stuff is so much better and easier.
Yeah, and we didn't use any tour companies. It was just
us.
Yeah, it was just. We were making all the decisions and doing all the logistical things and getting our bus tickets and.
I think there's only 2 instances where we took an actual tour bus.
Yeah, that was to the more to the touristy
Yeah, something that we couldn't have done on our own. We actually had to have like a tour bus take us.
As far as just traveling around and actually, just doing the everyday, things, we didn't rely on anybody but us.
Yep, and that's the way you should do it if you happen to go to Ireland. Well, all right. Well, we're gonna take a break, but before we do,
okay, fine.
In the break music, I'm gonna feature a band that I used to play some shows with, and these guys, well, at the time they were just kids. I say kids. I bet they were probably 10 to 12 years old when I used to do shows with them. That was just 3 or 4 years ago. So they're probably I'm just estimating they're probably about 15 to 17 years old now, and they just released their first single from their upcoming album, Snorkeling into Oblivion.
Wow. It's original.
Yeah, very original. These guys, or kids, whatever you want to call them, teenagers, they are from Vincennes, and they're pretty cool. I mean, for how young they are, they're definitely whipping me on my musical abilities. They actually beat us in a couple of Battle of the Bands a few times. So and that was back then.
And they released an album, you said, just recently?
They released a single.
The single. Okay.
And the single is called Fortunes in Solitude. And here it is. Hope you enjoy it.
Okay, and now the news. Okay, I was kind of looking through some news articles, trying to find something kind of different and just interesting to talk about. I come across this that kind of caught my eye. The Happy song.
'Cause I'm happy.
Yes, that one.
I can't do too much of that or we'll get in trouble for copyright.
Okay. Okay. Anyways, that song, Pharrell Williams. It's
catchy song.
It's catchy, but I don't like it.
Oh, come on. You're a hater.
No, I'm not a hater. I can't help. It's one of them songs that you can't help kind of sing or hum in your head, but I hate it.
Well, you know what? In a day and age where we have our wrecking balls and we have our Lady Gaga's and Miley Cyrus's and Justin Bieber's. It's good to have a good, genuine song for once. The song.
Which is not happy.
Hey, I like the song.
Okay,
it's a good, happy song.
Okay, anyways, the happy song.
Well, apparently to your news story, there's some people who don't like it either.
Yeah, and guess who else does not like the happy song?
I'm just going to take a wild guess in the wind. The Middle East.
The Iranians hate it. Probably more than I do.
Oh.
They'll flog you for it.
Man, I think that's the first time you ever say you have something in common with them.
Exactly. Me and the Iranians hate the happy song. Anyways, in the news, I guess some 6 young Iranians did a version clip of the happy song, and it actually featured 3 men and 3 women. But the kicker is the 3 unveiled women were singing and dancing in the streets and on the rooftops in Tehran, which that'll get you killed over there.
Yeah. No kidding.
So the Iranians, like they don't have anything better to do. They, use their intelligence and police operations and the judiciary arm of the government. And they hunted those kids down like dogs and arrested them. And they haven't really said what they're going to do to them yet. But, in a nutshell, under Islamic law, since the 1979 revolution, women must cover themselves from head to toe. And they've also got kind of a morality police to enforce the dress code. And then, they're just so worried that these young people are, liking and, replicating Western, ideas and culture.
Hence, the reason why the terrorists hate us.
Yeah,
they don't like our double down KFC sandwiches. They don't like our happy song. They don't like our double triple decker milkshakes.
But you know what? I bet they like Justin Bieber though.
They don't like sandwiches made out of donuts.
Or I bet they really hate pork hot dogs.
Oh, wait, hold on. Pork hot dogs wrapped in bacon.
Yes.
On 2 pork chop slabs for the bread with smothered in barbecue sauce.
Well, we just spiraled way out of control.
Hey, this is where it's at. This is us coming out of our shells a little bit. So.
But really, I mean, it just kills me how in 2014 you have such, they think we're the barbarians, and it's a song.
Well,
although I hate the song, it's still just a song, and moreover, it's a happy song.
Well, I'll have a new story in a minute that will kind of carry over, but.
Since we're on music, can I morph this into another topic just real quick?
Oh, sure.
It was in the Netherlands, I think. This gentleman, he was a 58-year-old Danish man, but he has suffered since he was 13 years old of OCD and anxiety disorders and stuff.
Oh,
So basically, they went into his brain, and the article that I read said it's basically like a pacemaker for the brain. It sends out electrical impulses to specific areas of the brain that is supposed to help him, better cope with his OCD and his anxiety. So
sure.
the dude has it done, and after a couple of months, he kind of got used to it, and he found that it really, really helped. He was much calmer. The anxiety episodes were greatly reduced. But there was one other side effect.
Really?
And do you know what that was?
Well, it's musically based, so I'm assuming, did he pick up a guitar and magically know how to play it?
That would be cool if you could,
because it's happened before.
If they could manipulate the brain like that to where you can actually, kind of, just play the piano and, without even knowing how to play. No, this isn't quite that. Involved. He became a huge Johnny Cash fan.
Really?
Yes, and I guess he can't get enough Johnny Cash. In fact, the article said that that's the only thing now he will listen to is Johnny Cash.
Which, that's kind of interesting because they went to treat his OCD and his anxiety, but don't you think that that OCD-ness is kind of manifesting itself in Johnny Cash?
That in itself is kind of OCD.
Yeah, so did it really cure his OCD? No, I don't think it did. I think it caused him to project his OCD on something else, and it happened to be Johnny Cash.
No, you're right. I never thought of that but in the other aspects of his life that he was really having troubles with, he's much better with now.
But that's
so
cool.
Maybe it just took all of that stuff and just kind of lumped it into a neutral kind of area. Johnny Cash.
That's cool.
Ring of Fire.
Boy Named Sue.
Boy Names, yeah. So, I thought that was cool. I've never actually heard of them doing anything like that where they actually put something into your brain.
No, I haven't either. But that's cool. I mean, if they can do more research with it, I mean, I think there's a lot of people who could probably benefit from that.
You know what would really suck, though?
What's that?
What if they'd done that, and then the only thing that you ever wanted to listen to was that stupid Happy song?
Oh, you know what? What if they did that to? What if they did that to the? What if we just do that to the Iranians? What if we could change their way of thinking?
Yeah.
But then again, there's also other people that would probably use that for other groups of people as well. But
yeah. I guess any time that you're, manipulating things for reasons, it could be bad.
Yep. Well, I'm going to go ahead and segue into another story.
Okay.
But what if they? Well, I'm just going to forget that idea. But the new story, which this all ties in with this whole thing, is recently in the news they've been talking about the Sudanese Christian.
Oh yeah.
Who is awaiting her death sentence for not renouncing Christianity.
Kind of give us an overview of. I know she was a Sudanese Christian, right?
Yeah, she's 26 years old. She married a guy who currently lives in New Hampshire.
Okay.
He is an American citizen. Okay? He is an American. She is pregnant. She is 8 months pregnant. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
They have her currently shackled up to a wall. They flog her on a daily basis. And as soon as she gives birth to the kid, they're gonna hang her. Because she was given 3 days to denounce her Christian faith, and also for the fact that she married an American Christian, or she married a Christian or American, but to them, in their religion, she cheated on her non-existent husband with her current husband, who is a Christian.
Well, and the way I get it too, I guess it's okay for a male to marry out of his faith. I assume they want then that the person he marries can convert to Muslimism.
But the woman can't.
Yes.
Female can't. She did this against their once again their laws, and they gave her 3 days. They told her that if she didn't denounce her Christian faith, then she was going to be put to death, and she refused.
Yeah, and that just there again goes to show even back with the the schoolgirls that were kidnapped, women are just possessions to them. They have no rights. They're not really people. That is the true war on women. Yes. Where's the hashtag for this Sudanese woman?
There isn't, because, and that's what gets me, is that her kid is technically an American citizen. The husband is an American, and when they got pregnant while she was in the States. The reason why she's in Sudan at the moment is because her visa won't go through.
Wow.
which in the end, if you know if the government wants to get crappy with other branches of government, with other parts of the government, they could say that, well, if they would pass immigration reform, this wouldn't have happened. I could see that being an argument.
And you know,
But no, she is not. She cannot be an American citizen because her visa won't let her. But I thought that she is an American citizen if she got married to an American. I thought that was always the case.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's some paperwork, but I think yeah, if she married an American, then I think she automatically has the right to become an American. That she can just go straight to the line.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because that's what I thought.
Which is why a lot of the mail order brides, that's their ticket to be an American.
See, and that's why I'm wondering about this story is because why isn't the American government saying anything? Why aren't we getting her? Why aren't we bailing her out?
Yeah, it's beyond me.
I mean, they're all. I said, like you said, Michelle Obama is hashtagging the children in over in Africa that got abducted by Boko Haram, but this woman who she's being put to death for her faith.
Yeah, and like I said, where are all these women's rights activists? You would think they would be all over this.
Yeah, I mean, especially since this is a religious based, killing. But I don't know. It's a lot of whatever, however you want to interpret it.
Well,
But
and
I think that if there's a hashtag for the missing for the abducted children, there should be a hashtag for this woman because
well, okay, but let's get real. Hashtags aren't the answer.
no, it's the fact it's the fact that the government acknowledged they are not even acknowledging this woman.
Yeah.
They're acknowledging those kids, but they're not acknowledging this woman, and it's not uncommon knowledge. I mean, this is in the news, but no one's talking about it. I mean, how many people die every year, because of these weird religious tyrants? I mean, no one says anything to them, but
Well, and that's why I think this whole Sharia law stuff. It's scary.
it is.
And they want to have that over here. I don't think so.
Nope.
We got enough problems.
Yep. But anyway, that's enough on that story.
Yeah.
I kind of want to go. I want to take this next story.
Sure. Go ahead.
I want to be an uplifting story. I saw this today, and I don't know if any of you have seen this story, but apparently an Indiana University student gave a speech, and
Yeah, I saw that.
it went viral. But the gist of why it went viral was because he has a stuttering problem. Him, which I mean, let's all face it. A lot of us have problems. Talking or we all have our different faults.
Yeah, but
And his happened to be his stutter. And
yeah, stuttering is a much more. I'm sure it's something that really affects him on a daily basis. Just anytime he has to communicate.
I mean, if all of you listen to me, you can kind of tell I stutter just a little bit, but mine's more because I can't collect my thoughts. It's more my fault than anything. No, this guy, he legitimately has a speech problem. You can tell that he knows what he wants to say, but he can't say it. But he gave a speech, and it was very, very uplifting. And he talks about how he's not going to let his stuttering problem prevent him from getting his messages across. And I mean, it was just very, very uplifting. And this is our back door.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool story. I know I've seen part of the interview, not as necessarily his speech, but I believe there was a newscast that was interviewing him, and he stuttered during it.
But he has he tends to have a good direction of where he wants to go.
Oh yeah.
He said he doesn't know where his degree is going to take him, but he's just going to go for it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just a really cool story. for sure. And I have one more story for us.
Okay. What you got?
It's it's not necessarily anything huge or not, but I know a lot of you out there play Candy Crush.
Oh my.
Do you play Candy Crush?
I tell people to take their Candy Crush invites and stick it. That's what I do.
I can just imagine that one picture of that baby with that really anguishing look on its face, and it says, "Stop sending me game invites."
But I realize that a lot of people enjoy it. I don't fault you for that. I'm just not one of those.
But a lot of these people, I know that for a fact that play Candy Crush. I know a lot of mothers and maybe even grandmas.
Oh, yeah.
People. All kinds of people play it. But apparently, the founders of Candy Crush are richer than the creators of Grand Theft Auto.
Oh.
That just tells you how much people play Candy Crush.
Wow.
And just to put that in perspective, last year, Grand Theft Auto 5 was released in the States, and it made $1 billion
Well, wasn't
the first day released.
Wasn't there a news article 3 or 4 months ago about this Korean kid that made this game that was so popular, and he ended up taking it off?
Flappy Bird.
Yes, yeah, Flappy Bird.
Flappy Bird.
Yeah, and
the dumbest, most ignorant game I've ever played.
Yeah, but can you imagine? Oh, I just can't take making all this money. I didn't make Flappy Bird for the money.
He was making almost $50,000 a week.
Yeah.
On Flappy Bird.
So but just imagine, if he hadn't have caved in the pressure, he might have the top selling game over Candy Crush.
Yeah, and
we might be talking Flappy Bird.
Well,
now.
and Flappy Bird was out, just a couple weeks. Candy Crush has been out.
Oh yeah, Candy Crush.
And if he was making $50,000 a week off Flappy Bird, imagine the amount of money Candy Crush is making every week. I'm trying to look at the money, but
I tell you, people just don't realize the kind of money in this video gaming business. I mean, it's huge business.
Grand Theft Auto 5 was an $80 million game.
Unreal.
You know how much money costs for your like the Avengers? That was probably around the same budget. Now, that was a 2-hour movie. Okay. Grand Theft Auto is it has well over 200 hours of gameplay. Wow. And it cost $80 million. And like I said, it made it cost that much money, but they made $1 billion in one day.
Well, I know even I don't have anything to back this up, but I always heard that Aerosmith made more money off Guitar Hero than they did off any of their albums.
Yep. Pretty much. I mean, it was so popular. People, I think it's. I still hear this. I still hear these comments made a lot. I know it's a generational thing, but people were like, "Why would you want to waste your time on video games?" And I understand. Video games are not. They are time wasters, but what isn't? In this day and age, what else do we waste our time on? Me and you are wasting our time right now doing this podcast that only 30 people are going to listen to. I mean, think of all the books that you read.
What a buzzkill.
The women taking all this time to get their hair done or to get their makeup done or put makeup on. Think about all this unnecessary stuff we do every day. That we do, we don't really think about it. It doesn't really always make sense.
I know, as far as being generational, when I was younger, it was like, oh, you're wasting your time watching TV. TV was our crack back then.
And now it's video. It has been video games, but I think it's gotten to the point where you really almost can't say that anymore because video games have... I mean, there are some like for instance, I think Candy Crush is a waste of time. I mean, it's literally in the video game community they call it a time burner. That's the only thing it's meant to do.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's like Bejeweled, or Tetris. It's just
yeah,
it's really not got any kind of a plot or a storyline. You're just
well, some of these video games they have more plot to them than movies or books. I mean, it's when I play a video game, it's like me playing an interactive movie or playing an interactive book.
and granted, there's a certain amount of strategy and stuff that goes into it. I know there's all sorts of things that are touted. That you exercise your brain. I mean, I would assume that there has to be some benefit from.
From playing video games.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, to make the same argument, there are some negative things that can come out of it too. For instance, there's no way I think kids should play Grand Theft Auto.
Oh no.
No way. I saw some of the stuff that was going on in I saw some of the stuff that was going on in the fifth game.
No, that's pretty. I mean, that's definitely an adult game.
Well, I don't even think some adults.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's an adult game or not. It's just,
I played that. I played a little bit of it, and I was just like, oh man. I was like, I don't know if I can play through this because I mean there was some bad stuff in it. I mean just senseless bad stuff. But so then you have your Mario games, and then you have stuff like that. I mean, it takes some of that stuff takes strategy, and a lot of people put a lot of heart and soul into creating this world. I mean, look at Walt Disney. Look at what he created. Yeah. He created this
just mindless nonsense.
Mindless nonsense, but look how influential Walt Disney became to the world. Nintendo, you could say under Walt Disney, is kind of second or third place.
No, Walt Disney changed everything. Within the cartoon industry, or he made. Some of the most memorable characters are Disney characters.
I mean, under Disney, you have your Looney Tunes, your Bugs Bunnies, and your Daffy Ducks, and underneath that, you have your Mario, and you have your Luigi, and your Zelda, and it's the same world. It's same concept. I mean, I think that if they made a Nintendo park, it could be just as popular as Disney World. I honestly think that it's on that same par with how memorable these characters are.
Yeah,
which is very interesting. But anyway, the point of this whole story though is that you think all of you are not video gamers. You really are. When you're playing these Candy Crush games or your Angry Birds or your Plants vs Zombies, your mobile games, you are considered a gamer. And did you know that to be considered a core gamer, you have to play at least 5 hours of video games a week? Now, imagine how many of these people, go, in between, walking to place, how many hours they're spending putting into Candy Crush or Angry Birds and stuff like that. A lot of these people who used to hate video games and stuff, they're core gamers now.
But see, even, but to me, you're kind of taking a shortcut because, I like to read, and I think that not enough people read like they used to anymore. We have to have our stimulus, spoon fed to us in these video games. Whereas I think, really, if when you're reading and you're actually retaining and understanding what you read, I think that is better mind exercise than jumping from building to building, throwing some kind of a simulated bomb onto some cartoon character. It's just.
Well, I get that, and that's a good point. There's some books I like to read. I have a few that I like reading, like personal biography books. I like reading. I like learning about people.
Well, and that's the whole key in reading. You
can't get that in a video game.
And you have to enjoy the topic, that you're reading.
Yeah, if you just go to Barnes and Nobles one day, I personally like just going to Barnes and Nobles or the bargain bookstore. I like just walking around in there, just looking at stuff. Which when I go to bargain bookstore, I end up looking at the music and stuff or the movies. But But I know you find some gems in there every now
Oh
and then.
gosh, that's the best place I've found to spend my time and money for a long time.
I tell you, Dad goes in there and he spends $50
Yeah.
almost every time on books. Books alone. I mean, one day I'm gonna inherit a library of books.
Library of Alexandria.
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of books.
But again, like I said, there's just certain things, and like I said, I'm more the historical, uh,
Well, I am too.
the autobiographies and biographies. That's what I like.
See, my real passion now. I mean, I like video games and all, but in the very end, I have more passion for music than I do video games, and I think depending on what artists you listen to, you can learn a lot from artists, from musicians.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Whether you think about it or not, that's why I get really mad at Miley Cyrus and Lady Gaga. There's nothing to their music. It's literally just it's mind rot, and that's what people would say about video games too. If you haven't noticed, that stuff's mind rot.
and they have kind of gotten away from most artists in the past would use music as a way to convey and ideas and. But yeah, you're right. Some of the garbage now is just it doesn't convey anything.
Well, we're turning to Europe. Well, certain parts of Europe now it's just techno and dubstep, just boom, 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 boom in the radio all the time. I mean, next time you listen to like 100.7 or something like that, or 96.7, just I want you to pay attention to every song they play. I guarantee you, there's not much differentials between each song. It'll have the same beats. It'll have the same type of lyric. I mean, what distinguishes a wrecking ball from a Lady Gaga song? There's nothing.
A wrecking ball.
A wrecking ball. It's a mess. It's a literal construction mess.
I wonder what kind of music Putin likes.
Because I don't see the everlasting Putin reference.
I don't think that Putin is a dubstepper.
I think he's a classical music guy.
I would say he's a sophisticate. Yeah, I can see him, doing the hardcore, the Wagner and.
He don't like Pussy Riot.
Yeah, we know what he doesn't like. That is Pussy Riot.
He does not like them.
Wow.
Hey, you gotta give it to me. That was good we're thinking that we know for a fact he does not like that.
Yeah.
Well. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, I actually and.
We're about to wrap it up. Do you have something quick?
Well, yeah, something quick. The viral video of the cat attacking the dog.
I watched it.
Yeah, I think about it, everybody has, and it's really cool. And in all honesty, that dog could have killed that kid because it was shaking him like a rag doll.
But you want to know what I want to know about that?
What's
It's just a quick thought. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not the first one to think this. So
Okay.
I'm getting this from someone else.
Okay, go ahead. I know where you're going. Go ahead.
Why is the dog walking around the stupid neighborhood to begin with?
Oh.
If he's just walking around, whose dog is it? Why don't we take him? Why don't we take the owner out by a chain, wrap him around a fence post, and beat him senseless with pans or something like that?
I haven't heard him say anything about the dog's owner.
Yeah. Who's the dog's owner? It's not the dog's fault. Who's the owner that's letting this dog walk around the neighborhoods attacking children?
Good point.
I mean, unless if it's a stray dog.
Now, what about the cat? I mean, that's a badass cat.
It is. Well, no, I gotta admit, that is the only time in history I've ever seen a cat do anything. Imagine if Grumpy Cat would have been sitting there. You saw the dog shaking the kid up, and I could see, no.
Yeah, Grumpy Cat would have had something very gnarly and sarcastic. Why is that kid bothering that dog?
or it serves you right for taking away my kibble.
Yeah.
Or putting the peanut butter in the roof of my mouth. Or
I don't know if you call that.
Or putting the tape on my butt.
Yeah, I don't know if you would call that cat Grumpy Cat, but he was definitely Alpha Cat.
Yeah, it was that cat was pretty cool. I mean, that cat made took no time at all for that cat to jump into action.
Oh yeah.
I mean, 2 seconds.
Right on it.
2 seconds, and that cat. I mean, you saw it tried to do like a ninja move. I mean, like his legs went out like he was gonna ninja kick it. You know, he was gonna ninja kick that. I think it was a pit bull, wasn't it? A pit bull or something like that.
I don't know what kind of dog it was.
It looked like a pit bull. Not saying that pit bulls are mean, because I've seen some nice pit bulls, but that one particularly looked like it wasn't very happy. It wasn't friendly.
Oh, he wasn't singing the happy song in Iran.
I'm happy. Well, all right. Well, is that about wrap it up?
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else
I don't
right
either.
now.
Well, all right. Well, let's end the show.
All right, until next week, we'll have a brand new episode for you. And again, if you have any ideas for any topics that you'd like to hear us ramble on about, just get in touch with us, and we will see what we can do.
And you can email us at DanaandTravisShow@gmail.com, and you can please like us on Facebook and share us. We really, really would appreciate you if you did that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, share us. We're getting some likes, we're getting some shares and stuff on Facebook. But yeah, if you can share us, that would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, like I said, we're trying our best to try to make our stories better. We're trying our best not to step on people's toes. I know that we started off the show with a little bit of grocery talk, and we really don't want to make people mad or anything, or the Middle East stuff.
Yeah.
We really mean this all in good spirit. We're just having general discussion, you know.
And that, yeah, I mean, this is that's how you know, if you don't discuss topics, you don't know where people are with different topics. So
No.
we need to talk about things.
All right. Well, until next time. If you have any ideas or topics, just let us know.
Yeah. So until next week,
You be careful now.